Okay, so there we are. And we're going to start with the end, which is right now. So just last week, we'll just skip ahead. This was last year. Mark, you can see he's out there.
I'm a mountain biker and a skier and a water skier and hiker. I just love being outdoors and doing all things outdoor.
Yeah.
And it's been super exciting for me because, as we'll relate to you a little bit later here, that looked like it wouldn't be a possibility for me to do much of what I'm doing today just a few short years ago. So
That's so
I'm
true.
really, really excited to, to be where I am today. Here we are hiking and I'm on my mountain bike. I do a lot of that. Just last week, we were up at a reservoir here close by, and I got up on a ski. I had skied many years and became quite proficient. And because of some health issues, I hadn't skied for over 10 years. And
He had
last
some
week,
back, he had a bulging back issue.
and
And
so that was super exciting for me. You want to talk about this one?
oh, sure. Okay. So, and a couple years ago, we went to the Grand Canyon to have a supai. Have you ever been there? It's awesome. It's just the most beautiful place. It's like an oasis in the middle of, well, it is an oasis in the middle of the desert. The water's just completely that incredible color that you find in the Mediterranean. It's just incredible. That's me. Whoops.
Yep.
He went ahead. I want to go back.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So that's me sitting on the rock, and that's Mark over there looking out over the Grand Canyon. So that was him coming out. He hiked in. I actually flew in and out, but then I went hiking all over, and the bottom was awesome, just so beautiful. That's just a couple years ago. This is also just a little while ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm out there boogie boarding, and then we're up in Montana. This was just right before the eclipse. So we had some fun that time too.
And you can see we like water a lot for some reason.
I like water a lot.
We're by water a lot. So.
And again, here we are by water, and this is us hiking again. And just so you understand why we do this, it's because we want to live longer, but not just longer. We want to live younger. And so that was a really important thing for both of us. We love so much to do, and we love to be a part of life. And without what we've experienced in the last couple of years using doTERRA products specifically, that just was not possible.
Absolutely. Just very recently, we were talking about just kind of looking, but we were looking at some of the longevity statistics, and we thought, wow, we've got 30 years of life left.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, where were we 30 years ago? And what are we going to do with this next 25 or 30 years?
Yeah.
We really want to be able to enjoy it, and we want to have the health and the vitality and the mental clarity to be able to do that. And so that's why this is so important to us. And we want to share that with anybody else who is interested in finding out what we've discovered.
Next. So this is the quiz, and our hope is that we can make this as simple as possible for everyone to understand. And this is probably pretty obvious to most people that are trying to do some good things for their body. You start usually with, it might be because you have some kind of problem, and that's usually what makes us think, oh no, what have I got to do to change? But if we can start with eating right, and then we work our way up to exercise, and then we manage our stress and reduce toxic load, and then do into informed self-care, which is what doTERRA is all about. And that's what we're really, really interested in helping people understand, is what it means to eat right. And so, you know, if you were going to take this quiz, I don't know where you're at on it, but a lot of people really feel like they're eating pretty well. And so the question becomes, well, what does that mean for us to eat really well? What do we need to be doing? And that's kind of what we'd like to discuss a little bit tonight about. And then we'll come back to this a little later.
Okay. It's not moving.
So this is what we discovered first off. Now, this is backwards for a lot of people. Most people start with an oil or two, but we had some really remarkable things happen with our immediate family. And we're like, well, let's try this. Now, I'd taken supplements for a lot of years. And so, of course, Mark got to take them too. And some of them worked pretty well and some of them not so well. I started because I wasn't feeling too well. And I thought, okay, I better do something. So I took over the counter ones and you know, whatever got advertised, that's probably pretty much what I did. And then I started learning a lot. And as a result of learning a lot, I discovered what I needed to be doing for my body. And, you know, and so I decided to look for the very best. And some of them were, you know, in the health food stores, and some of them were through MLMs and different places. And I actually wanted to go back to that slide.
Okay,
yeah.
Keep going.
Well, I'll be on that slide. We'll just keep on there.
Go ahead.
So so we wanted to look for something that could really do things well for us. And I don't know if you use Lifelong Vitality, but this is what it said that it would do. This is a lot. I mean, just read through the list. Optimum nutrition, liver detoxification, digestive function, lung function, eye health, brain and nervous system help, energy comes up, DNA help, you know, bone help, immune function, stress management. I mean, it's just like the whole body, right? And so what I learned about this is, and from a person who actually helped to create this complex, is that this is a whole food supplement, that this supplement actually helps us move past what we're missing in our diets and gives us the full protection that we need in our lives to really have an optimal health experience and really, you know, kind of crank back the clock. Next slide. So Mark's going to talk about the next few, I think. Oh, and so I did this. I took this challenge, and these were just some of the things that happened to me. Now, remember, I was already really involved in health, and so I was spending about $250 a month, and that's not exaggerating, so that I could feel well. And that was going to the health food store, grabbing the herbs and any things I could find, and I was using homeopathics and, you know, whatever I could find that was beneficial. And there were lots of good things, plus my supplement. And I put that all to one side, and I decided I'd try this Lifelong Vitality because I read the label, and the label had everything in it that I had been using, plus it had some incredible extras that help for detoxification and to help my body really have that free radical elimination that we're always looking for. And this is what I found. We're not going to go through that list because we're going to talk about Mark.
So Cynthia and some of our children actually had dealt with a number of health challenges over the years. And as Cynthia said, she had tried all these different remedies and supplements and different things, and had gotten some pretty good results, but we were still not where we wanted to be. And then it was my turn, and things started happening to me. And I was, for example, I wasn't able to sleep well at night. I had restless leg syndrome, and it was keeping both of us awake. I had arthritis that started flaring up in my hands at a fairly young age, and nobody had really any idea what to do about that. And Cynthia mentioned my back pain. I used to be I was an avid skier, water skier, and then I started having this back pain and pretty much really had to cut back.
Yeah, couldn't be on the boat anymore.
Yeah,
just couldn't be with the bounce.
Really, really, really painful. And again, really not much you can do. I wasn't up for surgery or, you know, any of that kind of thing. And so just living with it. But there was the wake-up call for me. The wake-up call for me was I noticed, and it was probably related to the fact that I wasn't sleeping well, but my mental clarity was starting to really wane as well. And then I started falling asleep in the middle of the day. Like when I was at work, especially in the afternoon, early afternoon, I would just get so drowsy and so tired. And then when I was driving home, I was commuting at the time. And when I was driving home, this started happening to me. I would be driving, and it was all through all this construction and everything. And suddenly I would snap awake and have no idea how long I had been asleep.
Now,
Scary.
when he told me that, it was astounding to me, and I was really, really scared. And so, we started looking into a lot of things to help.
And I was trying things
Yeah.
like playing music, listening to talks,
Eating
eating
energy
something,
bars.
drinking something,
Yeah.
and it wasn't helping. And so the big wake-up call was one day driving home through construction. I woke up just in time to see one of those orange barrels take off my rear view mirror on the side, and the next barrel was headed right for my hood. And fortunately, I swerved out of the way.
I didn't know
and made
that.
it home.
That's the first time I've heard that story. He never told me that until right now.
Yeah, well, not what I want.
That's really
It was scary. And so we said, we've got to do something. And Cynthia had just started the doTERRA program. And she said, you should try this.
Yeah, I just really started using any doTERRA products.
This might really make a difference. And I said, okay, well, I'm game. Whatever, let's try it. And so I started on the lifelong vitality regime. You see it here, the 3 components. And I stuck with it for pretty religiously for a couple of months. And over time, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
It really became, and Cynthia was also, she is an expert, actually. She's really an expert in natural remedies and supplementation and that kind of thing. So she was trying a lot of other things, but for me, this is what I could really focus on and concentrate on and do it really consistently every day. And amazingly, over a few months, all of these issues started clearing up one by one. I had better mental clarity. I was able to stay awake. I was able to really focus and do much better at work. My hands, the pain in my hands went down tremendously. And the back pain started to clear up. I mean, it was just like one after another, these things started to clear up. But the most important one and the biggest one that is still very close to my heart is during this time, I was also struggling pretty significantly with depression. And to the point where I was like on a 9 or 10 on the depression scale. And over the next few months, with this supplementation in place, plus some other practices that I do still very consistently, it was a life changer for me. It changed my life, and it changed my ability to function in the world, to function with my family, in my job, just all the way around. It was an absolute lifesaver and life changer for me.
It was, and of course it was for all of us, because when something that big happens for someone in your life, it happens to everybody around you as well. And these weren't things that we thought. We were just going after the sleeping thing on the road because that was so significant. We were just so worried about that. And I was just like beside myself just thinking about that. And to watch these other things kind of melt away was a surprise. I mean, I really didn't even know what restless leg syndrome was because I don't know why. But I
was kicking you all night.
Yeah, I was like, we need a bigger bed. And then we found out that was, something that could be resolved too. That was a big surprise.
Yeah.
But to watch the depression just so significantly subside in his life, oh my goodness, it was just like a miracle for us. So we love that. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mark keeps flipping back and forth between screens here, but we'll just whip through these for you. So what we learned was what optimum intakes are and why doTERRA has really hit the mark. You know, what I didn't understand is what we need to have in our body and why we're not getting it. And so optimum is 100, and it's not the daily minimums. There's actually an optimum intake that everybody needs in their body. And then if you take more than 100% optimum, your body can't do anything with it anyway. Go to the next. And so this is what we know we get from an average American diet. This comes out of studies that have been done in the US. And this is what you'll get in your average diet. And no matter, you know, I guess that would be less optimal than what we probably were doing,
Right.
even when we started all of our doTERRA things. But this is what it would be an average diet. I know the slides aren't the greatest, but we'll use them anyway. And this is...
So the real magic here, and this just jumped out at me as I studied this further, is the doTERRA supplements what your body needs and what it's not getting from an average diet, and makes up that difference in a very natural, bioavailable way. Across the board, it gives you all of these nutrients and supplements that you need to hit that 100% area, without overdoing it and without over supplementing.
And we just wanted to show you what high-end multivitamins often will have. Like if you don't have something that's giving you 100%, you'll often have things that are just kind of off the charts, and you'll hear people say, oh, if you're taking a multivitamin, you're getting too much. Well, that's what doTERRA is not doing, is it's not giving us too much of a good thing. It's giving us things that our body can actually use.
And one other really important point is, not only are you getting too much of some things, but you're getting zero of some really essential elements here, like true. Vitamin A and D and iron and the essential, and the oils, the omega oils, are just not even there.
Right. So. And also what they don't have in this diet that we know are in the doTERRA things are along with the herbs, you'll get actual essential oils that will help with all the free radicals and the toxin removal, and help our bodies to have less inflammation, and we'll just have a higher degree of overall health.
So here's something that I discovered. So I shared with you how this changed my life and what a difference it has made for me. So I'm going along, I'm a few years into it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm feeling great. I'm just, I'm going mountain biking, I'm doing all this stuff. And so some days I started thinking, well, I can skip it today. I just don't want to take it today. And the next day I would notice my energy level would be down. I'm thinking, what's going on? Why am I feeling so tired? Why am I not clear in my head? And I thought, oh my goodness, I skipped a day. Literally, I can tell the difference within a day. And if I go 2 days, I'm really dragging. So it has become my daily foundational health must do every day, mm-hmm. but it makes all the difference in the world for me.
And we've been doing this for over 6 years now. So it's a long time that we've been doing this daily. So we invite you to consider to make your own quiz and find your answers, and then keep track of your changes and tell us about the improvements. And the great thing about it is you can try it for a month. And if you're already doing some really good things for your body and you add this to it and try it and see how it works for you, then if you have any questions about it, you can contact the company and they'll help you get through your questions, and we will too. And we just love that. And the bottom line is you'll save a gazoodle of money, right? And you can,
Is it?
Yeah.
You want to go to this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just the next one.
Okay. Let me just make one other quick point here. Something that another light bulb went on for me a few years ago, and some people say, well, this is like overkill. You got all these supplements, you have to take 3 different ones and all these pills and everything. And a few years ago, Cynthia and I decided to try to get in better physical shape. And so we joined a gym and we got a trainer. And this guy was buff, you know, he was like really showing us, he was going to show us how to get really good in shape, which is what I wanted. And before we touched a weight or did any exercises, he said, you've got to supplement. And if you think taking one pill a day is going to do it, you're kidding yourself. So he said, look at, you know, whatever your choice is. He wasn't associated with doTERRA, but he made the point that you can't just pack it all into one pill. And that's why, again, doTERRA has put a lot of really great research and science into this, and come up with this combination that covers all the bases every day.
So, you know, this is kind of a motto, you know, it's every day for as long as you want to be healthy. And we've really discovered that in our lives. We've done so much in the last few years, and we know the reason why we have this kind of energy and health and capability, it's directly attributable because we know what we were like before. Even though we love to do things, we could see that our bodies weren't responding the way we wanted them to. And we saw the difference. Now, we aren't going to go into all of the things that are inside of them, but we can send you there. We've got a lot of that information that's available, and it's really easy and accessible. We can let you know more about that for you if you're interested in that part and the scientific side. But we really wanted to share how we've created this just tremendous amount of energy in our own lives, and how much we're able to do. And there's just no question that we've been able to do this. So a couple of years ago, go to the next slide. I decided to do a mini triathlon and I got first place. And it was pretty funny, but I know that I could have never, ever done that. I think it's funny because I never thought I would do that in the first place. But I would have never been able to do that if I hadn't already been doing what I'm doing right now. So, you know, this company has made a tremendous investment in creating this supplement. And they don't make the money that it takes to make it out of it. I know that because I know how much I was spending in just the regular stores to get the same things for me for a month's worth of product that had basically the same in it, but no essential oils. And so, you know, I believe that you have the ability and opportunity to really live a much healthier life. And I know Mark does too. And that's why we think it's so amazing that, you know, he was on a boat again last week and out water skiing again. I mean, we just like, I remember turning to him. We had some friends that invited us to go skiing. We sold our boat because it wasn't working for us. And I said, do you think you can do this? And he's like, yeah, my back doesn't hurt anymore. I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
I never imagined that would happen in my lifetime. Never imagined.
So we believe that your body knows how to turn back the clock. And if we give it the right nutrients, then it has a chance. And we don't think that the next 30 years has to be spent wondering what's around the next corner in lack of health and lack of this and lack of something else. We believe the body has a chance to rejuvenate, and it can take that chance and really go with it. So we hope that that's what you'll do. We hope that you'll take that opportunity because you're worth it. You're worth it.
Absolutely.
Go to the next one. And if you're new to oils, then we have something that you can do. You can take a quiz and you'll get some. And if you're not new to oils, that's great too. But we're more than happy to talk to you about it. And next week, we're going to bring up some more issues. We're going to keep going up that ladder and help each of us learn a little bit more as we go through the different levels of what it means to be healthy and how you can have that too. So we're going to open it up to questions now and see if you have anything you'd like to ask. Can you take Stacy off mute too?
Stacy, do you know how to unmute?
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome.
Me?
Does anybody have any questions?
Or comments?
Yeah, or comments.
I have a question. So on the amount of those that you take, do you take the amount that's recommended on the bottle, or do you take less? Or
I take the recommended amount,